ask your consent. And then find your seat. Maybe that's on the couch. Maybe that's in a on the side of your bed, or in a I want to say a dining room chair. If it is in a chair with wheels, if they lock, that is the best way to do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. But when you're ready, find your seat, and we'll meet there. Just coming present to the moment. I would recommend, we'll be doing some forward folding in this class. So if you would like to grab blocks, that can be very helpful in a forward fold. I always keep a yoga strap nearby. We're not going to do a whole lot. We might cross our ankle over top our thigh, and a strap can be useful for that. So decide what tools you would like. And then let's get cozy. So we're going to sit in our seat. And then to start our practice, we're going to scoot forward to the edge of our seat. And you might feel these bony protrusions underneath each cheek here catch on the edge of your chair. And we want those bony protrusions, your ischium, we call them sits bones in yoga, to be firmly planted on the chair. And then the rest of the thigh hangs off the edge. The pads of the feet firmly planted here gives us a nice strong foundation with a lot of mobility. And then when you're ready, let's just find our breath in our body. And the easiest way to do that is by closing your eyes or letting your gaze grow fuzzy off into the distance. And take a few cleansing breaths. For me, that looks like a big inhale in through the nose, filling the belly and the chest, and then a nice slow exhale through the mouth. Dropping the shoulders, letting the jaw soften with each exhale. Continuing those cleansing breaths, letting the belly and the jaw soften as you release the air from the lungs. Allow the mind to drop into the sensations of your physical body for a moment here. Feeling the stretching of each inhale, the rise of the shoulders, the filling of the belly, and then bringing that softening, that release with each exhale. And then when you're ready, you might come back to your natural breath, just this effortless inhale and exhale. And allow your mind's eye to notice the sensations of your natural breath in your body now. Maybe it's not as intense as those cleansing breaths, that stretching or that softening, but inviting the mind to notice that little bit all the same, to become deeply present with the most minute sensations of your body so that you can explore. And then on an inhale, let's find some movement. If you're ready, sweep your hands up overhead, and you might sweep them out wide. Exhale, bring them towards the heart. If sweeping them out wide doesn't feel good, you might inhale, sweep them forward. Exhale, palms towards the heart center. So whichever way feels best to warm up the shoulders, to open up the heart, find that now. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms up and pause. We'll turn our palms in the opposite direction as you exhale, sweep them down by your sides, pressing still through those fingertips. And then maybe we interlace them at our back here. This is where you might grab that strap to hold the strap at your back instead. And breathing here with each inhale, the top of the head rises, the heart rises, and with each exhale, we gently squeeze those shoulder blades together. Maybe we shimmy the tops of the hands down towards the earth, really opening through the heart. And then from here, we're going to work on having a strong foundation. So you might keep the feet about hip distance apart. If we want an easier and stronger foundation, heel toe them out a little wider even than your shoulders. We're going to press strong through the pads of the heels as you squeeze those shoulder blades together. Feel the strength, right? Feel the legs gently engage here. And then on an exhale of your choice, begin to lower your heart center down. The belly, make plenty of space for the belly here, the belly and the heart lower. As far as feels good, maybe you pause and breathe, pressing through the top of the head with each inhale. Squeezing those shoulder blades gently together with each exhale. Maybe you continue this fold down and then let the head hang heavy. There's no wrong way to do this. If the head hangs heavy here, you might lift the palms from your back. A strap can be a wonderful boon here, creating some space in between the hands so you can lift the arms up overhead if that feels good. And then when you're ready, press through the pads of the feet, feel the legs engage, use that strength to rise up. Finding length through the top of the head as you do, and then release the arms, shake it out. All right. Let's do a little warm up of the neck here, an oldie but a goodie, imagining that pencil, graphite side up, sticking out the top of the head, and we draw little circles on the ceiling, like tea saucer, grapefruit, maybe a big apple size. And then let those circles grow. And you might notice that the sensations in the neck and the shoulders intensifies the larger you draw these circles. And you might draw the circles so large that you let the full weight of the head hang. Maybe you don't, right? We're listening to our body. We're choosing the movement, the shapes, the postures that invite us to want to come back again and again and again. And so we offer ourselves kindness here. You might pause wherever you are and then start that rotation in the opposite direction. Relaxing the shoulders from the ears as you draw these gentle, slow circles. And then let those circles shrink. Each one a little smaller than the last, until the head finds stillness above the shoulders. And then let's warm up the pelvis here. So with our strong foundation in the pads of our feet, we're going to press down into the pads of our feet, curl our tailbone up towards our belly button. And I'll turn towards the side so you can see, here's my neutral posture. My lumbar spine is in alignment with the rest, right? And then when I press into the pads of my feet, I curl my tailbone up towards my belly button. You can see the low back round. We're creating all this space in between the vertebrae here. Sometimes that vertebral column gets compressed at the low back. So we bring space to it, space to the nerves, space to all that padding in between each bone. We invite space and ease. And you might let the top of the head hang down heavy here, coming into a Marjaryasana or a more full cat posture, if you will. It's entirely up to you. Our focus really right now is in the pelvis and the hips. On an inhale of your choice, rise up to neutral. Find that length through the top of your head once more. And then let's tilt in the opposite direction. So this time the tailbone pulls up towards the back of the head. The belly and the heart rock forward. And notice I'm giving myself space here. I really want to feel the curvature in my spine, which means my belly needs space to come forward, because if it's still compressed, you see, right at the top of my thighs, I don't get that nice arch in the low back. So making space for our beautiful body here. And then if you want to come into a full seated cow, you might lift your chin skyward. Feel that heart gently lift. And we're actively rising up through the chin, just gently making sure the back of the head doesn't collapse towards the shoulder blades. Breathe deep into the heart and the belly here. And then let's move with the breath. Let's exhale, curl the tailbone in, press through the feet. Inhale, rock forward, back and forth, focusing the effort on the pelvis. And if the neck and the head join, lovely. But let it be yours. And then on an exhale, find a neutral posture once more. We're going to take this in lateral hip shifts. So previous, it's front to back. Now we're going to move side to side. So you're going to rock over into your left sit bone as you squeeze your right hip up towards your right armpit, if that makes sense. So we're working on rocking, and you might just find a rock left to right on your sit bones, right? This is the easiest way to find this motion. We're going to rock towards the left, rock towards the right. Feel yourself rock up onto the sit bone, that bony protrusion in your seat. And then pause for a moment. Let's rock into our right sit bone. Let's lift our left hip up towards our left armpit by pressing down through our left foot. So we're rocking the pelvis this way, and then we'll switch sides. So I'm rocking over to my left sit bone. I'm going to press through my right leg to lift my right hip up towards the armpit. So back and forth. And maybe you keep that real deep rock. Maybe you shallow the rock and just use your muscle strength. You decide what feels good to rock back and forth. And it's almost like a side crunch, right? On either side of the body. We're just loosening up the lateral spine. All right. When you're ready, find stillness. Let's take this in a circle. So on an inhale, rock the belly forward, tailbone reaches up towards the back of the head. As you exhale, we're going to press over into our left sit bone, pull our right hip up towards the armpit, and then round back. So we're making these circles, moving with the breath, focusing the movement on the pelvis alone. Inhale, the belly and the heart round forward. Exhale, round back. I did not explain this well. All right, pause wherever you are, switch directions. Now for just a moment, on your next inhale, pause with the belly and the heart rolled forward, tailbone tucked up towards the back of the head. And then from here, we're going to lower the back of our head towards our shoulder blades as we lift up through the chin, right? So we're bringing our neck into this equation now. And as you make your hip circles, the head follows, right? Maybe that feels good. Maybe it doesn't. You find stillness in the neck once more. Maybe you find some somatic movement and you're like, what the hell, Danae? I have no idea what you mean. So I'm just going to do what feels good in my spine, and I will support that wholeheartedly. When you're ready, you might switch directions. Give yourself a moment. There's a lot going on in the body to get the hang of it again. And then on your next inhale, you might rise up into a neutral posture. So from seated Tadasana, we'll bring heel toe our feet about hip distance apart. We're going to start our version of moon salutations. And moon salutations start with a crescent moon. So from our seated Tadasana, pressing strong through the pads of the feet, right? Finding that firm foundation at the edge of our seat down through those sits bones. On an inhale, rising up through the top of the head. All of this is our firm foundation in Tadasana. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms out and up once more. Pause with them overhead. I'm going to bring my arms down so you can see. We're going to move into temple mudra. So interlacing all of the fingers and then removing those pointer fingers in like a temple. And then once more, I'll extend them up overhead. And you might notice with your next inhale how good it feels just to press length through those pointer fingers as you rise to the top of the head. You might even press down to the pads of the feet just a little bit to feel your power, your energy rising up through those pointer fingers. And then to find our crescent moon on an exhale, we're going to lean towards the right. So your weight is going to shift over into this right sit bone as you press out and up through those pointer fingers, feeling all along this left side lengthen. And you might notice here we are in a crescent moon. On an inhale, rise tall. Exhale, switch sides, crescent, pressing down into that left sit bone out through those fingertips. With each inhale, you might find even more length here. And then on your next breath in, rise up. We'll hang out here for a breath or two. Our next posture is going to be wide mountain pose. Some folks call this starfish pose. This is representative of our full moon. So when you're ready, on an exhale, we're going to sweep the arms out wide, right? A big full moon. We're going to step the feet out wide. I'm going to move my blocks here. Toes pointed towards the front edge of the mat. Here you are in wide mountain pose. This is our full moon posture. We'll come into a half moon by finding a seated triangle. And we do this by taking our left leg. And if you have a chair with edges, it's easiest because you're just going to pick up that leg and point it directly over towards the left, right? So now the hips are open here, just like you would see in triangle or warrior two if you were standing, except for in triangle, your knees would not be bent. But because we're seated, we're changing the shape a little bit to support our anatomy as it is. To find our extended triangle, which represents our half moon. We're going to inhale our arms out towards the side yet again. You're going to press those fingertips of that left hand over in the same direction that that left knee is bent. And then as you exhale, you're going to take the inside of that left arm to the inside of that left thigh. Your right arm sweeps up overhead. And here we are twisting our heart skyward, right? The gaze follows our drishti, or our gaze is in the same direction as these skyward fingertips here. And it might also feel really good to grab a block. Place it down by your ankle. And instead of hanging these fingers out in limbo, maybe you plant your palm here. A bit more of an anchor. Breathe here in your triangle. And then we're going to move into another version of a crescent moon by moving into full triangle. So you can see my right foot here on the mat. The toes are still pointed directly, right, in front of me. I'm going to pick up the heel. I'm going to swivel it over towards the right. This is going to allow me on my next exhale to bring that right arm down. And so now both palms might be supporting me atop this thigh here. You might do it without the support of the hands if that feels good. However you want to challenge your body, meet it where it's at today. Every day is different. And then on an inhale, pressing strong through this bent left leg, we're going to rise up into our Anjaneyasana asana. On an exhale, we're going to come back into our wide mountain pose. So I'm going to pick up my block. My feet are going to point towards the long edge of my mat again, my arms out wide. I know this is wild. It's a little weird sitting down. And then on an inhale of your choice, we'll step the arms and the legs back in up to our crescent moon. On your next exhale, lean towards the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean towards the left. This time, as you inhale, rise up. As you exhale, step wide into wide mountain or starfish pose. And now we're going to find our extended triangle on the opposite side of the body. So keeping this left leg planted here, I'm going to lift my right knee out over towards the right. And if you are up against a couch, then it's only going to be as far as the couch or the bed lets you. And we honor that. It's still incredibly challenging work. From here, if it feels like you need some support in this left knee, you can walk it closer to the body. It's entirely up to you. And then your triangle looks like this, sweeping the arms out wide. We're going to press through those right fingertips, let the body extend long. And then as you exhale, plant the back of that arm on the inside of that right thigh, sweep the left arm skyward, gaze follows. Maybe you grab that brick, maybe you don't. It can feel really nice to have this inner right thigh pressing into the back of your arm and your arm pressing into the inner thigh, creating this anchor point from which you can twist and turn, find strength. And then we're going to come into our triangle, no longer extended triangle, by lifting our left heel. I'll move this block so you can see. Lifting our left heel, we're going to press it out towards the left. So this just changes the direction that our knee is facing, so that from this extended triangle, we can sweep that left arm down into more of a warrior one type stance. And then from here, if it feels nice, you might inhale the arms up into Anjane Asana. On your next exhale, come wide into wide mountain pose. Beautiful. Breathe into the heart center on your next inhale. As you exhale, arms and the legs come together. Your next inhale, you reach long through those temple mudras, those temple pointed fingers. Exhale, lean towards the right. We'll start the flow again. So here we are, flowing through moon salutations. On your next exhale, wide mountain pose. Hang out here, breathing into the heart center. And then from here, we find our triangle. Step the left leg out towards the left. Your inhale reaches those left fingertips out. Exhale, come into your triangle pose. Gaze skyward, finding that anchor point with the back of the arm, pressing strong into that pad of that left foot there. And then we're going to lift that right ankle. We're going to pivot it over towards the right. And then on an exhale of your choice, you're going to lower that right arm down. You're going to face on over towards the left here. Breathe. Like I said, maybe we're holding ourselves up here, right? We're honoring our low back. Maybe we bring a little challenge this round, listening to our body's request. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up, Anjane Asana. On an exhale of your choice, we step wide to mountain pose. On an inhale, bring the legs and the arms together. Exhale towards the right. See how we move with the breath? Inhale, we lift. Exhale towards the left. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, we step that right leg over towards the right, fingertips follow. Exhale into triangle. And maybe we're moving slower than that, right? We can take as many breaths as we would like in every posture. We listen to the needs of our body, our lungs, our muscles. And then when you're ready, lifting that right heel, pressing it on over towards the right. On an exhale, lower that right arm. On an inhale of your choice, rise up into Anjane Asana. Exhale, wide mountain. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale towards the right. Inhale, find length once more. Exhale towards the left. Inhale, length. Exhale, wide mountain pose again. This time we switch sides. Inhale, step that right leg towards the right. Fingertips reach as well. Exhale, extended triangle. Inhale, pivot that left heel over towards the left. Exhale, lower that left arm. Facing towards the right on an inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, extended mountain pose. Inhale, arms and legs come together. Exhale, let's just bring the palms down towards the heart center. Beautiful, beautiful work. All right, from here, let's cool down from all of our hard work, our beautiful twists here, and let's do it with the fold. So here's where blocks might come in handy yet again. We're going to heel toe the feet out wide, wider than shoulder width apart, right? We want it to be comfortable, finding that strong foundation, but we want it to have space, ample for the belly, ample for the chest. And then I'm going to grab my blocks and place them in front of me, knowing we can adjust them, use them or not. And then on an inhale, find that length through the top of the head. Exhale, we're going to press strong through the pads of the feet, feel the legs engage, and then let the belly and the heart will send them both forward. And maybe you anchor the heels of your hands to the tops of your thighs as you come down. Maybe you extend the arms down onto blocks. Lowering on down, knowing that when you fold like this in a seat, it's a deep hip opener, not just for the low back and the hamstrings, but for the inner thighs and the outer hips as well. We're just sinking the belly and the heart center down. Maybe you come onto forearms, maybe fingertips plant on the earth. Maybe we hang out exactly where we want to without feeling pressured to perform. And then if you have blocks or if you're on your fingertips on the ground, we're going to walk our hands on over towards the right. The head follow. And then walk on over towards the left as far as feels good. And then hang out here. Pressing down through that left foot to support the weight of the body. Right? This is some leg work here. We often think that seated yoga is an upper body workout. And if we're engaging the legs to protect the low back, then it is definitely a leg workout. Walk back to neutral here. And then when you're ready, we'll rise up, pressing through the pads of the feet, lifting through the top of the head to find our strength. Let's do a gentle twist here. We'll heel toe the feet back together, hip width or so, and then crossing that left ankle over top the right thigh. And maybe you grab that strap. And maybe you hang out here. We'll take the heel of our left hand towards the inside of our hip crease, and we'll just press it away. And you might even just like roll the hip down in a way in this direction, but we want to stay away from the knee. So we do it up towards that hip socket, press it down and roll it away. And then a gentle twist here on an inhale, find length through the spine. On an exhale, we're going to turn towards the left. We'll brace that right hand on that left knee. You might brace that left hand on the couch behind you or the chair behind you. Really invite the heart center here. And then when you're ready, release, come back to neutral. Let's switch sides. rolling that inner thigh away and down towards the earth if that feels good. Just letting that outer hip open. And then on an inhale of your choice, we reach to the top of the head. Exhale as you twist, brace where feels good. You might gaze over that right shoulder. You might just simply imagine your heart center turning in the same direction as your gaze. Let the low back soften here. Let that outer right hip soften here. And then when you're ready, release, come back to neutral. Let's release this leg and spend a couple minutes in our final Shavasana. So getting cozy, scooting all the way back into your seat, letting the length of your spine be supported. Maybe the arms hang, maybe they're on the body. Maybe you just find some time to lay down in bed. But we support our bodies as much as possible. Maybe the head leans back against something. Maybe it hangs forward if that feels nice. Our goal is a moment of physical effortlessness. And so when you find your spot that feels cozy and fully supported, we're going to relax any effort in our physical body. You might start with the jaw and the tongue, the throat softening, letting the shoulders hang. On your next inhale, you might send it into the heart and the belly, feel them stretch and rise. And then as you exhale, let the belly and the heart soften along with the glutes, the thighs, your knees. Let the calves soften, even the ankles. Relax the toes on your feet. Can you imagine what it feels like to relax your big toes? Can you let your mind's eye travel down into the big toe to soften and release? We hang out here in stillness, knowing that this is the culmination of our practice, our movement, our awareness, leading us to this point of stillness and release. And so on this full moons being an important time for yoga, it's believed that the light of the full moon is the true reflection of the sun without all the harsh bits. And the sun is energy, that energy that flows in us and through us all. And so this full moon reflects the glory of the sun onto us. And there's a Sanskrit mantra that says, if the light of the sun is in your heart, you can never suffer. And so you might imagine, as you hang out here in your final Shavasana, that you just bathe in the light of this full moon, knowing that those glorious rays, the fullness of the moon is here even in the daylight. And so with each breath in, you might invite that light to fill you, to bring with it energy, joy, compassion. We allow it to soak into us this day, this night, moving forward. that sweet, sweet light. When you're ready, you might wiggle the toes or rub the pads of your thumbs against your fingertips. You might curl the fingers and the toes and then extend them wide. Maybe you find wrist or ankle circles. Maybe you bring that movement up into the arms and the legs, using some intuitive stretching, knowing it doesn't matter how silly you look, because sometimes the silliest stuff feels the best. And take your awakening low and slow. Let it feel wonderful to you without rush, right? We're not moving on to now produce. We're just awakening our body right now. And then when you are ready and when it feels right, you might bring the palms to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Maybe you take a gentle bow in the head. There are many, many customs for how we celebrate the full moon. The full moon is the time of wrapping things up or starting anew. The full moon is a time of reflection and great awareness. The full moon brings a lot, and often with it big feels, because even thousands of years ago, they understood that the moon affected the tides and that we are also 73+% liquid. So how could it not affect us? So as you move through the rest of your day and the few days following this, and maybe you've noticed leading up to this day, if your emotions are heightened, if you're feeling extra intense, you might just for a moment close your eyes and just invite the light of the full moon to fill your heart. Let it go, shake it off, know that this is a moment in time and it'll pass. Thank you for practicing with me today, for celebrating this full moon with moon salutations. The light in the dark in me sees the light in the dark in you, and we are the same.